Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. Glad you're here this Friday morning. We appreciate the viewership this week and going to wrap up the week with some giveaways and a good outdoor report on fishing, we hope. Let's look at the weather brought to us by Gulf Coast Air Conditioning. Drew Pollard and hardworking crew taking care of our everyday comfort needs. It's going to start off comfortably around 59. It's a little rainy in some of our areas, but so as it gets through here, it's going to drop down here on the coast about 35. So it's going to be a big drop in temperature. The wind's going to be blowing about 15 to 17 coming in out of north. So we've been watching this front develop. It's interesting watching it come through the country, especially over the southeast. Talked to Wendy up in Mississippi, and we were down here with air conditioner on. They were freezing up there, and I had a friend in Nashville sending icicles and everything. So we've been protected for about 4 or 5 days, but it's finally about to get to us. So it's been an interesting front to watch. Looking at the river readings, we're looking at Apalachicola, Bluntstown. How about 16.5 foot? It's come down about a foot from yesterday, but it's still high. The Choctawhatchee at Carabille is reading this morning a 12.1. It's high. It's going up with this rain coming through, so it's going to be high water on both the river systems. In fact, Ocklawaha over there, and then Blackwater more west of us. All the rivers is going to be full for the next couple of days. The tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn. Good strong tides today. Friday, February the 3rd. Good tides today, and tomorrow we're looking at the low tide now is going to be at 6:36 and the high tide at 8:22. High tide will be coming in tonight, but that north wind now is going to hold it off a little bit, so be aware of that. Let's go into our fishing game times brought to us by Blue Water Outriggers. Our times today, we're looking at 9:27, 11:27 this morning, and tonight 9:53 to 11:53. So that's our time, that's our weather. It's going to be blowing, so be careful out there if you got some rain in your area. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. I want to read a little article, a pretty long email I got, but I got it a while back from a good friend of mine. Somehow I got lost in the in the iCloud, but we've got it. David Barnes. Right now, what David does, he's my age, but he's has an airboat tour down around the Central Florida area, between Everglades, Orlando, and just a consummate outdoorsman. And grew up here. And his two brothers, the Barnes boys, that went to Highland Park, to Rego Park, Assembly of God, and he was the choir director way back before it came to rock. But David and I have been good friends. We sort of haven't been in touch the last years and all because he's moved away. But my fondest memory of David was the two of us going bow hunting way back in the early 70s at Eglin when they were first opening up the bow hunting, and we were some of the first ones there. And it was really cool. We got in some places we shouldn't have been in, but didn't know any better. We got close to the airstrip, and we got the MPs came up and wanted to check our IDs and all. This was way back. It wasn't like a dangerous thing. They said, "Boys, y'all in the wrong area." But we didn't know. But we enjoyed outdoor stuff with him. I'm getting to what he said. Now, he's fished his whole life. His dad was the best flounder fisherman, Mr. Howard Barnes, I've ever known, and he fished Crooked Island Sound and could catch flounder year round. An amazing fisherman. So with that background, that's why I want to give you that to you to read this, what he sent to me the other day, because and Jeff, you're going to put it up there, I'm just going to read. Hey, Winston, just wanted to send you this story. I was in PC last week for a dentist appointment on Monday. I stayed overnight with my brother Kenny Barnes and decided to take his boat to go up Holmes Creek, okay? Holmes Creek in Vernon, okay? So now he's up there and he wanted to do a little bass fishing. I idled up the springs and shut off the motor at Entrance Springs, up around Cypress Springs. I'm gonna give you the exact spot where he's going. I had a new 15-pound fluorocarbon, so I did a little warm-up cast right there in the middle of the creek just to sort of make sure everything's working. Then the next cast, listen to this, the next cast was up the creek behind a big old cypress tree, and that's when things went crazy. Now this coming from an outdoorsman his whole lifetime, not somebody driving down from Atlanta asking people where to go fishing. This guy, okay, so I thought I had hooked a 4-foot gator because this lure hit the water and it was a huge explosion. It took place instantly. When I realized it was a fish, I thought it could be a world record largemouth. He really felt that way. Without a landing net and on the logs, I finally got my hands on this giant striper. My dad was born and raised and fished here all his life and never caught a striper in Holmes Creek. I never caught one in the creek either. It's the biggest freshwater fish I've ever caught. He measured 40 inches and weighed 30 pounds. Okay? What a day. Your friend David, the book app said he was about 9 to 11 years old. So he said he kissed it and released it. So there you go. So here's a picture of it right here. David Barnes. And David's going to be up here pretty soon. And he's going to come on the show. We're going to talk about some outdoor things that how's the airboat company doing in Central Florida. There's David right there. I miss doing things outdoors with him. Good job, David Barnes. Moving on, this is exciting. From Brett Martina. Hey everyone, we have tried to figure out the best location due to the tide and the river rising. After talking with CCA, we have determined the best location will be the 13-mile oyster house. Mr. Tommy was nice enough to let us use his ramp. They're aiming for the truck to be around 9 a.m. on Tuesday. Folks, they're going to release 15,000 redfish Tuesday, February the 7th. Everyone's invited. I'm sure going to try to be there at 9 o'clock. All right. Okay, Alan Chasen really got this unusual deer. He had trouble. He took him 6-8 hours to track it, and got a friend, Jonathan, and his dog helped. Jonathan Maxwell and his dog helped him get it. But this is a very unusual buck that he got. Look at the horn that had been, and now Alan hunts with a bow all the time, and it was a good shot there. But anyway, right there. Good shot, and there is on camera. So obviously he'd been in a fight with another big buck. That's up in Jackson County. Here's Jonathan Dog that tracked it up for hours and got to him. So good job. Got a good shot and a good deer and a good tracking job there. All right, look, this is for anyone, okay, that immediately, okay, just release this, the Fish Art Contest by the FWC, last call. Okay, it's a Florida Fish and Wildlife, the Art of Conservation Florida Fish Contest. It's open to youth in grades kindergarten through 12th. They do this every year, so go ahead and touch base with them. It's going to go, the deadline is February 28th, so go ahead and check it out. One of these things that you can get people interested in. Here's more of the information. It has 2 categories down here at the bottom. Category 1 is freshwater, which of course you know what all those are. I won't read them. Then category 2 is saltwater. So anything, get that to your art teachers in all the schools here in Florida, and it's not it's a lot of fun. Really, it's part of the Wildlife Forever Florida Art with the young people. So check that out. Okay. One more quick thing here. Let's see. Let's go ahead and take a break. We're at a breaking point. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. You remember me showing a lot of pictures of Elizabeth Murphy on her duck hunting this year, and she did a little collage right here. Here it is right here. Elizabeth Murphy down in Weewall, a little collage of the season. The season just ended. It's a season recap. There's Elizabeth. And her husband there's in the boat now, so pay attention. This is just a recap of some of the duck hunting in Apalachicola Bay. She put it on TikTok, and here it is right here. She's driving a boat, so look at all these quick pictures. Exciting year they had. And, okay, they keep on going. Look at that big eagle. All right. Boom, okay. So I just wanted to share that with you because that sums up their whole season. They were avid duck hunters. Now she said the other day she's getting her fishing poles out. She's excited about that. Okay, I have one more picture to show you, 2 more. Let me see. Ernie, okay. Ernie Martin over there in Crestview. My cousin Chris Meredith got this one today, and I asked, man, that's a fine one. Then I put Florida, ? He answered, yes, sir. Blackwater River State Forest. So that is a nice buck coming out of public land. We won't be showing many more buck pictures, just wrapping up. And then, because we're going to start showing this right here. Ernie sent this picture also. Emerald Coast Youth Bassmasters, Reese Killian with a Lake Seminole hammer. That is a nice one. And bass fishing is right around the corner. And speaking of, just leads me into talking about the signs of spring. I got tickled just this week with this warm weather. We've had little signs been popping up. I've mentioned it to you. One of the first, I saw one of these the other day. I said, well, this is one of the ugly signs of spring. Okay, right here, y'all seen the stinkhorn mushroom? Y'all see these all around? You can smell them. They're terrible. I mean, and they popped up. So and every time I see one, I kick them up and get them out of there. But they're starting to pop up. Also, Wednesday afternoon, I saw two carpenter bees. With that warm weather we had Wednesday afternoon, they were coming in. So that was a sign right there. I wrote down a couple other things I saw. Of course, the Carolina jasmine. There's one across the road that Wendy planted 20-some years ago, and it's still beautiful. And I send her a picture every year when it starts blooming. It started budding out early part of this week with the rain we had and then the warm weather. So these are pre-signs of springs. The carpenter bees, let's see, I wrote, some ants coming out. The ant beds are sort of coming out of dormancy. They're sort of building up. All those little things in nature that you don't necessarily, not quite ready for in the first week of February. And then I remember seeing this right here. The 12 seasons of Florida, and we are here. We're just coming through winter. And we're actually technically still in winter, but see, Florida's 12 seasons. We're in what we call this fake spring. We have this little break of warm weather, and you go out in the woods and everything, and you see all this stuff going on. And then all of a sudden, it's cold weather, like we're about to have tonight, this weekend. A second winter will be coming in, then the pollen, and then you see, it's funny, but I always thought about all these seasons we have here. It's not just like the winter, fall, and spring like that. Okay, so start noticing your different things too. A couple other things. I thought it was cute right here. Forget the flowers. Times have changed. So take your wife instead of taking her flowers home, take her a laying hen. Okay, she'll be happy for that. Now we're talking about the sea trout, and we mentioned the trout season closed now in the Western Panhandle. I want to go over again what the Western Panhandle goes from Escambia County through portions of Guff County. West of longitude 85, 13.76 minutes, but not in capital letters, not including Indian Pass or Indian Lagoon. So that answers the question whether or not you can catch your fish there in the Apalachicola Bay and get out of Indian Pass. You cannot. Okay, so there it is right there. And one last picture, Bill Laminack posted this the other afternoon. The making of a great afternoon, mental decompression therapy. And isn't that the truth? Just getting that boat out there, no matter what size boat, no matter what size motor or kayak, just getting out and just relaxing, and especially this time of year. All right. I was going to, and I'll do this later on. One of the things I like to do is talk about different places to go surf fishing, and I showed those, but we pretty well got it covered. But what we have going on now is a lot of people I'm seeing on these Facebook pages, a lot of people are planning on coming down this spring and getting their rentals, and I've never fished before, tell me where to go. Of course, some people are telling them everything, and you know how I feel about it. I feel like they need to sort of give folks the basics and then let them learn by doing. That's always been important to me as a outdoorsman. Okay, I wanted to a couple of other things. I'm not going to have time to get into that. I mention this again now. Although we're a month away, the C&G sale is right at a month away. We're going to put it on the calendar, the end of the season sale. Okay. The third, fourth. They got a lot of good things on sale there. So now, wrapping up this week, I do have a couple other names. I got your message yesterday morning. Mike Hutton and Pam Hutton from Panama City. I want to go ahead and get your names in here. That's what, in fact, there's two that they watch every day that said they haven't heard their name called out, so we're going to put you in here, Mike and Pam, right there. Okay, so we'll get ready. But let's go and go do our drawing now. All right. I'll throw it up in here. And the winner of the $20 gift certificate, all folded up, is going to be Bill Barfield from Bayou, George. Congratulations, Bill. And the winner of the Big Red Snapper is going to be, let's see, Mary Melvin. So Bill Barfield and Mary Melvin are the two winners right there. All right, now we're going to get set up for our famous Friday fishing forecast, and we'll take our break and we'll come right back. Okay, welcome back to our famous Friday fishing forecast. As we're getting set up for it, you're looking at the weather. It's not going to, weather-wise, it's turning cold. It's sort of the front's coming through. We always talk about try to fish ahead of the front. So if you did, that's good. Usually behind the front, it sort of slows down, but it'll be a little bit more of a challenge, but there'll still be some out there. But on freshwater, we'll talk about later. So right now, usually I flow through from one end to the other. I think today I'm going to just sort of bounce around because when I put the notes together last night, I sort of bounced around on the notes. So I'm just going to follow my notes. And first thing I want to talk about is looking at what we just earlier said in the show down at Indian Pass. So let's check it out. Here we go. Here's St. Joe Bay, Cape San Blas, and look for St. Vincent Island. Right here in the center of the screen is Indian Pass, and that's what the FWC is talking about. Okay. Now, the campground, Indian Pass campground. So there's a boat ramp. We'll go all the way up to the boat ramp. So basically, I love that boat ramp. A lot of swift water coming through there. You can get around the Gulf, but it's great fishing all through here. We'll talk about it, but you cannot bring speckled trout into there. Okay, so make sure you don't do something like that. And you can catch trout all through here, so it's going to be closed there. Is my understanding of it. Okay. Now also, I'm going to jump over all the way. I say jump over. We're going to jump over to Destin because I got some reports right here. Not that far to Pensacola. At Destin, right here. We got some reports, folks. This boat went out, it's a little rough and all, so they came back in, and before they got to the pass, they were trolling around, and guess what they caught? They ran into some Spanish mackerel. And some folks were discussing it, and we always talk about, and you've heard me talk about it every year for, 17 springs now. The third fog in March is what the old timer said the Spanish were coming in. Now we, 6 weeks away from that, looks like, but they were laughing because this past week, remember how foggy it has been all week, and they caught them on the third foggy day. So the third foggy day of actually the winter. So I don't think the Spanish are here. I don't go and tell people the Spanish are here. But there are some, the water temperature has not gone down as much as we thought it has. So there have been some Spanish caught over in that area. I haven't heard of any local catches, but I don't know who would be out there, fishing right now for Spanish. So I'm not saying they're not out there, but I know they saw some over there, but because usually people aren't in there doing it now. Also, the black drum bite has been good this past week. Down all the way down to Carabel, they're catching some black drum up under the bridges, especially the bridge where Highway 98 goes across. Catching some black drum there, and redfish. And while they're using for bait, you can never go wrong with shrimp. Live shrimp or dead shrimp. Mainly the dead shrimp is what a lot of folks fish with, when you fish in the bottom, because the catfish and everything is going to be bouncing around the bottom. And the catfish is similar to the black drum like that, so that's been good. I also wrote down the trout bite is really good in the Apalachicola Bay at the upper end, but now it has a lot of water, so that's been good too. Again, let's bounce over here to, let's go to Panama City, right here in the center. All right, in Panama City, folks, they're catching right up here this past week. A guy showed me a picture of a big old bass he caught up in these feeder creeks. And so that's been good. But live shrimp this time of year, all through this area, live shrimp is good, floating on the cork. Live bait is going to be the best bet. We saw that big mess of bass caught in Deer Point Lake last weekend, 23 pound. And if you don't know where to go, the best ramp, there were all these right here, High Point that's where we film these bass tournaments and all. That's where you put in right there. That's sort of, you can hit all parts of the lake. So if you're new to the area, it's a good place to go. Also, there's a boat ramp on both sides of the dam down here to put in, and also a saltwater ramp here. So we've been blessed with good ramps all through the area. Okay, East Bay should really start turning on soon. Again, coming out of, I always think about Callaway Bayou, and then right here, Sandy Creek. There's always some good places. So I also got some reports, believe it or not, I got some reports on some flounder being caught. And this person that caught it, they were right outside the pass, and they're sort of coming back in. A lot of them are back in now. So flounder fishing is going to start picking up. It's too early, too muddy and all to gig and everything now, but I wrote that down here about the flounder. Some flounder, not a lot. So we're giving you real good on the freshwater. Wrote down hit the lakes. I stay away from rivers this weekend. Hit the lakes and ponds. You got Deer Point Lake right there. You got Lake Seminole. You saw the picture. Billy's grandson sent a picture of a nice bass from Lake Seminole. You have Lake Talquin, should be really good this time of year. Crappie fishing in February is the best it's going to get in Lake Talquin. If you get over there, just hire a guide if you don't know much about it, but it's great this time of year. And also the Lake Seminole, Lake Jackson, and Lake Talquin are some really good, the ones I wrote down, okay? Make sure, well, I'm about to run out of time. Make sure when you go out, make sure you have your life jacket on. We fished with one of my buddies last week, and I've got to where I just put it on right there before getting the boat and leave it on all day. So that's something, we're going to do some boating safety next month. There's some folks coming in with the Coast Guard Auxiliary talking about boat safety, and it's so important to us. So we're going to wrap it up. Make sure this weekend, we have strong tides this weekend. Next weekend we have neap tides. So take a chance on if you want to go, which day you want to go, a neap tide day or a tide day with a front come through. It'll be challenging either way. Y'all have a great weekend. Do something good for your fellow man. Enjoy our beautiful outdoors, and God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.